Welcome to the Bagel Logic Podcast, the show where Papa Thom spreads wisdom like a smear of cream cheese on an everything bagel. Here's your host, Thom Jennings.
Test 1, 2, 2.
Test 3, 3, 3, 4.
Oh, this is comfy. All right, welcome everybody to the Bagel Logic Podcast. I know it's been a while, but you know what? I got to sometimes call in the utility infielder because it's just I've been having a hard time getting guests. But you know what? It's about the quality.
Yeah.
And the quantity.
Yeah, I think so in this case.
This is number 3.
It's like a special side host guest slash something.
You're my Alec Baldwin.
We don't have to put labels on it. Come on. It's fun. We enjoy it, so we do it.
We do, and we've put together an incredible show, a script. No, we haven't done any of that.
No,
stuff.
we didn't do any studying. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, this is going to be completely off the. I don't know what you call it, off the cuff.
Kind of like every other episode.
Yeah,
it'd be just like episode.
That. I don't know. You know, I was thinking. I should teach you how to use the mute button so we don't have to hear all the drinking.
Oh, that stuff. Time. That's the good stuff. You got to leave that stuff in there.
I know. Sorry, it's folks, like I got these. I got like this cough too, so it's like I could really give it a nice, you know. There you go. A little bit of. I call those lung burgers. You know, it's just a gross thing to think about. But hey, you know, Josh Cogovan, thanks for coming with me today and being on the Bagel Logic Podcast.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks for being a listener and an active participant.
It's always a pleasure. And
since last time, I told you when I saw you last, I actually met your son, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but it was cool that you got to meet him. Yeah, we've been working on getting him out of the house a little more. So
when I first glanced at him, I thought he was you.
Yeah, he's about my size, and
yeah,
he's mine. I can't deny it.
No,
he's definitely mine.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot like you. So, but you know, let's catch listeners up, I guess, on life. You know, I think there was definitely an episode about our former participant who came in here, Steve Hillebrand. There's actually a picture of him on the wall.
I was just looking at that. That's awesome.
So he's kind of with us in spirit today, Steve.
So. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, maybe. So maybe he'll inspire us on some topics. But you started a new job, didn't you?
I did. Well, it's kind of a new job. I'm still just putting in wheelchair ramps, but I'm traveling now, so there's a whole lot of southern experience going on. I'm doing some work in Florida and Midwest Arkansas, the central Arkansas area, so that's all been a little bit of a culture shock for me. Believe it or not, things move a lot slower down there. I feel like.
What's interesting is I spoke to Mo, and I'm going to refer to her as your wife because that's
yeah, she's my wife.
You know, and you have to listen to the previous episodes. We're not going to get into the whole
we've gone
relationship. We've gone over it. But what was fascinating, she was talking about the fact that you guys have not really been apart that long for the duration of your relationship. So, I mean, how did that work out for both of you, I guess?
So far, we're still together, so that's good, right? I think it's been a little tough. So we've taken a couple trips out. The first one was 10 days. That was tough. 10 days after not being apart for more than maybe I've done a few fishing trips with the guys for like 2 days maybe in a row over the last 15 or 20 years. So yeah, it's been an interesting thing the job is fun and good and everything is lucrative. So that whole part of it is all good and everything's great, but being apart from somebody for that long when you're used to being right there with somebody, our son has just made it so we've kind of both had to be around a lot to help him. He needs that extra help. Now he's getting better, so we kind of are able to divide and conquer.
It's
taking a little getting used to.
I can imagine. I mean, I think a lot of times about, because I love music, as you know, and I think of all these bands that go on the road for months at a time, and I'll interview musicians, and there's always there's a good portion of them that always say that the hardest part is the travel and being away from your family for extended periods of time, and I imagine that. Especially in your case, not having done it, it must have...
Living in a hotel room and all that stuff, I feel kind of lucky compared to a musician. I am a musician, so I've thought about the concept of touring and being on a bus with a bunch of other stinky dudes, and sometimes there isn't a place to stay, and you don't make a lot of money, so this is like touring without all the bullshit.
See, I would,
because they put me up
I
in a
would
decent.
love to tour and have a decent hotel.
Yeah, they
and
put me
do
up
all
in a
that.
decent hotel. You know, they pay me well, so it's like all the good stuff about being a rock star, I guess.
Yeah,
so to say.
Does it ever make you scratch?
On a lower level, it's not necessarily fun. So
does it ever make you scratch your head like, do they not have anybody local that can do this?
It did. It really did. And no dig on any of the places that I've been, but it seems like everywhere, really, it's just hard to find good help, and maybe harder in some places than others. I don't know what's going on in Arkansas, but something's going on out there. I don't know if it's the lack of taxes for the school systems, or like they just don't have people that are able to be self-starters out there or something. There's nobody. They can't find anybody to work out there. It's weird.
So you said you were in Florida and in Arkansas, but
Florida.
Arkansas is the one that's
it seems like they're
issue?
just maybe having a bit of a meth issue out there or something. Yeah, there's some drug stuff going on, and I don't know. It just seems like a weird place. I don't want to throw judgment. I was only there for 10 days. It just seems like something's weird out in Arkansas.
It's one of the states
beautiful,
that I've never been to.
So
never
beautiful.
been to. And it's a friend of mine, well, a former friend of mine moved there. Man, I want to say this had to be like 25 years ago. And I remember the only thing that he said was that, well, black people down here know their place.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe that's why it's different down there.
If you want to talk about, everybody always says, oh, racism's gone and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, yeah, this was 25 years ago, but it was like, that's your only observation for Arkansas, like that, and like, what is their place?
Yeah, I don't know. I can vouch that I did do a lot of work with a lot of colored folks down there, and they were all very friendly and very nice and good people. So, as far as that goes.
Yeah, it's
if that's their place, then yeah, they know how to be good people.
I guess.
I highly doubt that's what he was getting at, but
no, I don't know what he was getting at.
Well,
but it's and I mean the podcast is already going a weird place, but I mean the reality is
you
that,
wanted to be on
yeah, but this is the thing. It's like I still deal with people that talk about just bizarre stereotypes that still exist, and this is a double-edged sword because now we're really going to go into completely bizarre territory.
Yeah.
So I have
thanks a lot, Arkansas.
Yeah, thanks, Arkansas. So as those who listen know, I have a small business, a bagel business, hence the name Bagel Logic. And the other day I was looking over a grant. There was through I think it was Square, which is don't sue me, Square, because I'm not saying anything terrible about you. Oh, that's the recording unit saying stop, Tom. Don't go here. But so I'm looking over the criteria for this grant for a small business, and they list all of the things that you have to be in order to get the money for the grant. And like the one thing that was missing was like old white dudes,
Yeah, you don't make the list, man.
No, I didn't.
Old white people and poor white people don't make the list.
Transgender, there's women owned, there's minority owned, all that kind of stuff.
We don't complain enough. I think that's the problem ultimately. I just got to complain more.
I don't know. It's so that sort of reverse discrimination in a way it can be very frustrating. And I know a lot of people use the term white privilege and everything. And I mean we could have a whole episode on that. And you couldn't win. You can't win that argument,
right,
because there are some people that have this real hard definition of it. But the reality is that we have people that hold on to these crazy racial stereotypes. So I work with a bunch of people that really dislike Jewish people, and it's been
so crazy to me.
Oh my God. I gotta say it's been, I can honestly say I don't remember the last time in my life where I was around more than 2 or 3 people that just were blatantly anti-Semitic.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been around anybody.
Yeah. No, it's utterly bizarre.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest conversations I had in a sick, funny way was a coworker said to me, they were talking about how Planned Parenthood was developed to kill off African American babies, and it was done by the Jews to kill off African American babies. Now, folks, please don't edit out the fact where I said I didn't say this, but this is what was told. This is what was told to me, right? Because I'm a history teacher, and they go, well, you know about this. You know about this, right? Like this is factual, right?
No, never heard of that.
So he goes, He goes, well, who invented Planned Parenthood? I'm like, Margaret Sanger. And he's like, well, she was Jewish, right? And I'm like, no, she was Irish, dude. Like, I mean, she was Irish. So I literally leave the conversation in my own weird mind going, were the Irish people trying to kill off all the...
This is misinformation in a nutshell.
Have the Irish people been the ones trying to kill off all these babies, and the poor Jewish people have been getting the bad rap for it? But
this guy's great-grandfather has been telling that story to all the kids in the family, and they just believe it because it's coming from Grandpappy.
Dude, let me tell you, it's one of the scariest moments in my life is when somebody I know and respect and really like, and you've known them for a while, and then they just pull this kind of stuff out of their ass, and they present it to you in this rational discourse, and you're just like, how do I unpack this?
You don't.
You never, ever look at them the same again. But, as I said, I guess coming full circle, I don't know. I think even like going back to that thing with the grant thing, I get the purpose of it and everything. Yes, I know that racism still exists, and I mean, oh my God, I teach a lot of kids whose parents clearly are really anti-LGBTQ, because I had a kid that goes to all the Sabres games.
Living vicariously through their children.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So this kid says,
all their bad habits.
I said, you going to the Sabres game tonight? Which, by the way, if you're outside of Buffalo, it's the Buffalo Sabres, their hockey team. And
Go Sabres.
And he says, I ain't going tonight. And I go, why? He goes, because it's Pride Night. And I'm like, what? Like, you literally aren't going to go to a hockey game because it's Pride Night?
Yeah, man. These are the times we live in. I'm telling you. It
13
with
years
the
old.
racist crap, man.
So,
and then they pass it down from generation to generation to generation until you can hopefully find one that's willing to be a little more open-minded and listen to the facts.
Well, but
not what
on some level we
been.
have to be able to talk about it in a very open and frank way. Like I would rather have a young person talk to me about it so that at least I can
if they're willing to
them.
learn, they just got to be willing to accept that information. That's what seems to be the hard part with a lot of people that are already hard-headed to even think, not have sought out that information to this point, and to even need somebody to give that to them. Just kind of can tell you how somebody was raised, and it's weird. The apple don't fall far from the tree in a lot of ways,
Well,
that's all you've ever known.
Scary.
And then that's all you ever spit out, and then you have kids, and you're spitting it out to your kids and regurgitating it to your kids' kids, and next thing you know,
you're in Arkansas.
Yeah, we're in 2023 out in Arkansas.
And you can't find anybody to work because they're all crazy.
Yeah, well, it seems like, crazy or lazy or something. I don't want to be judgmental. That's my new thing, to try to not really... I don't know what the story is after being there for 10 days. Everybody was polite enough with me, but it just seemed like fast food took like an hour at the drive-through. Maybe I'm exaggerating by like 15 or so minutes, but I don't think it should take a half hour, 45 minutes to get fast food. And that was a regular thing. It happened again in Florida. There was places where I pulled up and the place was supposed to be open and it just wasn't open.
Yeah.
And I thought it was Arkansas, and then I thought it was Florida, and then I came home, went to a Cracker Barrel right around the corner from the airport, and I got seated, and it took 35 minutes for the guy to come up and ask us what we wanted to drink. So I'm just starting to think it might not even just be an Arkansas problem or a Florida problem. It's a world problem. These people don't make enough money, so there's just not enough people to do the job. We went to Tully's. Took my son to Tully's. Loves the chicken fingers. He has a hard time waiting for red lights in the past. He's getting better, so we're trying to test this, So we go into Tully's. It's like 2 o'clock, 2:30. This shouldn't be a busy hour. You should be able to get a seat. The lady tells us 25 minutes. The waiting room is full of people already here. They've only been open for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, and there's tables everywhere. There's places to sit. There's just nobody to serve anybody is what it comes down to. End up waiting almost 40 minutes for the table. My son did a wonderful job. I think me and Mo got more angry than he did. By the end of the 40 minutes, we were looking at him for advice. At any rate, we'd made it through, and then it took another 40 minutes for the whole service to happen. It was pretty much one waitress running a whole giant section, and one lazy bartender that couldn't get the drinks out quick enough, so, and one manager that was about to pull her hair out. And you try to refrain from being mean. That's all you can do, because you got to remember it's not necessarily these people's faults and everything's happening like this. You can't get people in there to work. You can't.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to miss these people when they're gone, though. You know, when everybody wants to go out for Friday night fish fry and there's nobody to serve it. Or no, you know, you want to go out and have a beer or something, and you can't go to a bar because they don't exist anymore because we didn't want to pay these folks a living wage.
Well,
Not to get
I
off
tell you,
topic,
I'm
but-
good. No, you're. I mean, it's actually a great topic, because I've had this conversation with people before, and I know I'm a little older than you are. I'm a lot older than you are. I think at least 15 or 16 years older. But when I was, well, I mean, I had a kid he was born when I was 17, and I was 16 when he was on the way. Mm-hmm. And I dropped out of high school. I went to work washing dishes, and I was in the restaurant industry for about 11, 12 years in various positions.
Yeah.
But here's the difference between then and now. Back then, when I worked in a restaurant, whether it was as a waiter or front of the house, back of the house, and even, you know, low-level management, I got health insurance. I had vacation time.
Things were a little better.
I mean, there was benefits. So I think what's going on right now in the restaurant industry is everyone's going, oh, you know, these people all want $15 an hour, but they don't want to work and blah blah blah.
It's not an easy job.
Well, it's not that it's not an easy job, but you know, we've created a system, and with the best of intentions. You know, I look at New York State, for example, as a very progressive state. There's a lot of great programs. There's a lot of things that help families and everything. So, but the thing is that there's never any kind of buffer or weaning off. So it comes down to is if you're a single parent or whatever, and you go to work and you work too much, you lose too much by working. You lose the ability to get food stamps. You lose the ability to have your heating bills subsidized. You lose the ability. And you know what? In the old days, here's another shocker, folks. In the old days, if you were a front of the house person, you were a bartender or a waiter or whatever, it was real easy to get away without having to pay a lot in tax money.
Sure.
Because you were given what's called an allocated tip amount. It was a fairly menial amount, and if you had a bunch of cash, that cash was off the books. Now, we're not talking Al Capone numbers here where somebody should go to, you know, tax evasion. But, you know, it's the kind of stuff that balances the bills. So now, especially when you went to COVID, this is another thing that people don't really consider. You shift to everything being credit card sales.
Yeah.
So 100% of your tips are now taxed.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a higher tax liability. You're going to show more income. And so you get to that point where it's like, well, why the hell am I going to go through all the headaches to pay taxes, pay more for health insurance, because maybe you got to go into the marketplace or whatever.
That has at least
just
been
stay home.
Yeah. The health insurance thing, I can say, has at least been straightened out a little bit. Seems like to me anyway. Like it's semi affordable at least. I don't know. I've never worked like a minimum wage job lately, so I'm not sure how that all works. But I've worked an over minimum wage job, and it seems like when I switched to this new job, I got a hold of New York State about health insurance and told them that I had a new job and stuff, and they just told me to not worry about it for a whole nother year.
Oh.
So I've gotten free insurance for the rest of the year. And then I know people who are only paying like $14 a week. So,
Right.
I don't know, shoot, back when I was 23 or 24, it was like $250 a week for a family plan. So things have they've at least shifted in the right direction when it comes to health insurance, but we are like one of the last places that doesn't have free health insurance for everybody.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need free health insurance,
Right,
but
just something
it's
that's
pretty
not so
sad that as
ridiculous.
a teacher in a union, that I have worse health insurance now than I had when I was a dishwasher.
There's
at
things
age
that are
17.
backwards. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
It's just like folks that serve you food. Maybe you don't think that that's a big deal, but once you don't have that, you're gonna miss it. You're
Dude,
gonna
I
wish you paid
made
'em.
great money doing it. I mean, I'll
I
tell you.
wish you paid them, man.
Yeah,
I have a heart. My heart goes out to anybody in the service industry, grocery stores, any of those places that have to deal with some of these folks out here that obviously weren't raised right because they're mean
Well,
people.
you know,
They don't
at
understand
least-
the service that's being provided.
At least the tipped employees. I mean, I know I did. I made sick money when I was tipped.
You
Yeah,
like to hope to think everybody tips well, but I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't. I've been out.
They
I've got some
They
friends.
got those little percentages now, so
Yeah.
you can't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, shoot. Let's give them a little extra, maybe, since you're out.
Well, the
wining
one,
and dining.
we were out there. I think it was out Sunday. Yeah, Sunday with my granddaughter and my son, and they had like the little, 16, 20, 25 or something. They didn't even put 15.
No.
So
you're getting at least 16%.
yeah.
Well, that trip to Tully's, two burgers with fries, and I think we got some chicken fingers with fries and some mozzarella sticks.
Let me guess. Don't tell me.
Beers too. Two beers for me, one for the wife. A couple of root 75. Beers for the son. $90 with the tip is where we were at with that.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I got the big beers, of course, but it might have been partially. I've noticed that if you could somehow skip out on drinks, you could save yourself a heck of a lot of money when you go out to eat. Everybody just drinks water. But
do you know what?
Everybody thinks
do you know what the word
cheap.
tip stands for? Like what it came from? To ensure promptness.
Okay.
So the tip was supposed to like motivate whoever it was to be quick.
This works well with bartenders. If you can show up to and go out to see a musical show and there's a bar, if you can show up a little bit early and get a few drinks from the bartender and make sure you tip them real good. Throw them a couple of $5 bills so he recognizes your face. And later on in the night when things get busy, I've had bartenders just hand me beers right over top of 3 or 4 people because they knew that I was going to tip them good.
Well, this is public service announcement for everyone. Because as somebody who was a bartender for many, many moons, I will tell you that the proper method to ensure promptness is big one on the first drink and then just be semi-consistent. Yeah. But let me tell you, if you tip good on the first 2, maybe 3 drinks, you can walk up to a bar no matter how busy that thing is, and the bartender will glance over to you and be like, "Yep.
What do you need, buddy?
What do you need, pal?" That's a tough part when you open up a tab with your credit card or whatever.
Yeah,
they
don't do
know.
well.
They don't know what you're
These damn credit cards.
So
that's how they get you. It's just like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese. This is like the reverse coin to token thing. That's why they used to put your money in the machine, you get tokens. Now you're not spending money anymore. You're spending Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, converted over.
I thought it was just the casinos trying to get the kids to be used to
casinos putting
things into a machine and gamble. I mean, how is Chuck E. Cheese not gambling?
It is. It's a little kid gambling, pretty much.
It is a little kid gambling.
Except you don't win shit.
Yeah, you don't win a bunch of money.
They got them tickets now, so at least they're trying to give you something for your money.
Yeah. I'm going to file a lawsuit against Chuck E. Cheese because I'm going to say I got a gambling problem because I'm surprised nobody has done that to this point.
They had to do away with them ball pits because I think a few people got like, I don't know what they call it, but some kind of weird skin stuff. The kids are getting skin stuff from jumping around in the ball pit.
How do you clean a plastic? I mean, you
think about
kids.
that in the COVID days.
You can't clean plastic balls. I'm sorry.
How you disinfecting the ball pit every day? Oh, we got a guy over there scrubbing each individual ball down.
Oh my god, it's got to be like the worst job ever. Get yourself a bottle of Windex, some sanitizer, and just clean off every single ball.
They just went away with that and turned all the ball pit space into something different. I don't know what it is. I haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese in quite a while, but
we should set up a giant ball pit and then we'll do a video and like 2 weeks later we'll just spray luminol
so you can see.
Just so there's got to be like some kind of chemical reactant, where we could just throw some black light on it and everyone go,
"Oh my goodness,
my god!" Yeah. Like they do with phones because people they say your phone is really disgusting.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine, really, if you think about it. It's basically stuck in your hand all day, every day.
Yeah. I take mine in the bathroom with me. I don't know about you.
Everybody does. It was weird. I can remember a time when I didn't do this. Like, I would just read the shampoo bottle or a magazine like a normal person. And I can remember thinking to myself, man, that's weird. People really take their phone in the bathroom. So this is when I still had a flip phone. So there wasn't really much you could do with your phone in the bathroom. The invention of the smartphone took away the library in the bathroom. I used to have Rolling Stone, Playboy, have a bunch of good reading material in there for when you had to go. Comes to find out, you ain't supposed to be sitting in there that long. It's not good for your butthole.
Really?
Yeah, it can give you hemorrhoids sitting on a toilet too long.
Oh.
Google it.
Well,
all that pushing.
Our good friend Brian DeGraw, who will get a mention today. So Brian, who was the owner of A10 Meadworks, the place I used to bartend at before it closed down.
I used to drink there a lot.
He used to time how long it took me to take a dump because I would tell him, and I always told people when I go number 2, and I had it in under 2 minutes. We're talking leave the bar to the bathroom in.
You said take a dump, and then you said no. Well, number 2.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
like
I'm censoring myself. A poopy, Yeah, we got the little unit, which is we're talking about the recording unit, by the way.
Yeah.
that is moving around rather inconveniently.
We need extensions on our headphones.
Yeah, we do. I do have one, but it really, I don't know what it is. It just
Thom
doesn't
Studio's
work
coming
right.
together here.
It is.
We got new equipment. There's new microphones. Sound quality's better, I noticed, on the last recording.
Oh, dude, this mic, I'm telling you, it's
That
got
thing
a little.
glows.
It's got a little red glow. When I got
A
one, if you
laser
turn
mic.
around, I bought a second one. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet.
Oh, you got a good deal on it.
Yeah. So what we need, it's funny. I think about these things.
I got one of these ones at home.
You got.
I think so.
You got you and me, who I feel we have a good rapport. And if anyone's listened this far into the podcast, they obviously feel so as well. But man, we need a woman, like a third. We need like a female foil, and then we could just be the big three.
Yeah.
So we got to think about that.
Yeah. Maybe any females out there that want to cut a rug with us, let us know.
On a semi-regular basis.
On a once in a while regular basis.
Rose between two thorns.
Like I go live from Arkansas.
Oh my God! Yeah,
do some interviews.
Bring in a nice Arkansas.
Some videos. No, you get the girl. I'll just do some interviews from Arkansas.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Oh my Lord!
I make it sound so bad, but it really wasn't
Yeah.
that bad. I'm more scared of tornadoes this time around than anything. It's tornado season, so I've never seen a real live one.
I
don't know what you do. I guess get to the lowest ground possible. Hope they put you up in a decent hotel that holds up. I'm not sure what you do in it's a concrete building, right?
Yeah, I think what you're supposed to do first and
pool.
foremost is put your hands together,
Crack
and
a beer,
then,
get in
and
the
then
pool.
just start praying.
Pray that everything's gonna be all right.
I've slept through an earthquake when I lived in Nevada. Never seen a tornado. I mean, I've probably seen hurricane force winds, but we get. Oh my God, my brother-in-law and sister are moving up here in. We got the buzz back.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, technical difficulties. Just wiggled it. There we go.
Yep.
The buzz is gone.
Must have been when that cord when my headphone pulled.
So they're moving up here from Savannah, Georgia, up to upstate New York, actually Batavia, which is a town just south of where we are. Just in case there's any stalkers out there. And we'll talk about my stalkers in a bit, too, because I got some weird stuff going on in my real life. And as opposed to my imaginary life. But,
even weirder.
Yeah, even weirder.
You want to hear about that one.
This is just personas that you and I have. It's not real. But, and he was up here last week, and it was snowing. And he was just like, oh, my God, I've seen New York snow for the first time. He was so excited. He just thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, they always do the first few times.
Oh, Lord. I know.
Once you got to shovel it for a few seasons, your mind starts to change about the prettiness.
Well, it's like they say that if you're
beautiful
walking
of the
around
snow.
New York City and anybody that's looking up at the skyscrapers, which my 5-year-old granddaughter calls sky scratchers, which I think is
they're pretty close. They just about scratch.
She's like, look at the sky scratchers, Papa. But yeah, that snow is, you're looking up at the skyscrapers in New York City like, oh my God, Crocodile Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boy, these cultural references, probably, you didn't get that one, did you? You didn't even know what else.
That's not a knife.
Oh, you do know it. Okay.
This is a knife.
I always forget when Josh is here. It's like, one time I mentioned Styx, he's like, that is the worst name of a band I've ever heard. I'm like,
It's a weird one. I'm never going to live that down.
Yeah, you're never going to live that one down.
It's okay.
But,
I'll take it.
yeah, so I mean, saying that the snow was cool, I was just like, oh, yeah, I wish I could go back to the days where when the snow came down, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm experiencing New York snow. It's a beautiful thing.
I think I was about 8 or 9 years old the last time I had that good feeling about snow.
Yeah, but they were telling me, my sister's saying they're not going to miss the rattlesnakes, which I get. Like,
We do have some up here, but they're not like the diamondback down there.
Yeah,
the pygmies aren't.
Yeah,
Pygmies
Tracy
just
said
make you
that.
sore, but they won't kill you. And they're really hard to find, too.
Have you seen one?
No, but I've been on a trip as a kid for school where a guy took us on a guided hunt for them. And it's right around this area, actually.
Really?
It's like the virgin swamps or somewhere is where they exist. Yeah, little pygmy. They're pygmy rattlesnakes. Look it up, folks. You can Google that, too. We need the woman or whoever the person is that comes and sits should also be Googling stuff so we can find out if I'm actually talking shit or if I'm right about all this stuff.
Oh, my God, that's right. We call them the fact checker.
Yeah, we need a fact checker like on like all these new popular podcasts that they have out.
Well, Josh, it turns out that the pygmy rattlesnake is actually not from around here. It's actually from 17 miles north.
I would sound a lot less smart. You never know.
Yes. Would she be able to get in a word edgewise? That is the. I think
Yeah.
we would. I think we'd be very polite.
I think so.
I do too. But crap, what were we talking about?
Pygmy rattlesnakes?
Pygmy rats. Okay, we're done with that. We're done with that. All right. So what else you want to talk about?
Oh, man.
It's
Well,
water that tastes very good.
it's not bad. You got a filter on it or something?
No, it's I've been drinking alkaline water.
There's no way that's like Bergen or Oakfield tap.
No, I don't do tap. You know, which is unreasonable because there's nothing wrong with tap water. I've just been convinced.
It can be a little chlorine-y. You know, me and the wife got a filter, and we filtered the tap water, and I feel like it got the chlorine flavor out of it for me.
I drink alkaline water because I knew this guy Ron, and he was one of the weirdest dudes I've ever known in my life. And he always talked really slow, and whenever he said things, it was always kind of weird enough to make me never forget it. And he was like, he was talking about nice guys. His wife had passed away, and he was always kind of down and out in the dumps, and I mean just a sweet dude. But he just one day, he said to me, he says to me, he's drinking some water. He's like, "This is the stuff," and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "This is the stuff that'll keep you alive forever." I go, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "It's alkaline water." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And then he proceeded to tell me how he paid all this money for alkaline water. And I don't know why, but I'm like, nah, fuck it, it might work. So that's all I've been drinking since.
The pH is a little different. That's all it is.
I don't
alkaline,
know. I don't
acidic.
know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. He swore it was a fountain of youth water. And yeah, I mean, it was a weird thing.
There's like a bunch of studies out now that say that your body pH likes to be at a certain level. So if you drink the alkaline water, it brings it up to a more happy level or something like that. Go ahead and Google that, Janine.
Yeah, Janine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, Janine. There was a girl that I knew. Janine was a girl that was a really good friend of mine when I was a young man.
Sounded like a good secretary name.
It is a good secretary name. But she was like the girl that I kept in the friend zone forever, but I definitely should have dated.
Yeah.
Instead, I dated her stepsister, who I impregnated.
It's weird how you can look back on that and just be like, shit.
Oh, I know. I feel terrible. Terrible.
Wish I knew now.
She died young, and she was in an abusive relationship before she died, and it was like, I just always remember thinking to myself, man, I should have dated her. She was always really good to me, and her stepsister, not so much, but her stepsister was utterly gorgeous. And when you're 15, 16 years old, that's all you care about is the looks and and then the other stuff, how they kiss and all that stuff. But as a human being, she was definitely a much better human being than her stepsister, and it was sad. But I didn't really know that she would have dated me. I don't know if we had this conversation on a previous podcast, but for the longest time, the only woman I would ever date or have any kind of sexual relationship with were ones that came on to me. Like,
okay,
I could never be the initiator.
Okay, that was just because you were scared to be, or because that was like something that you thought like, all right, unless they're willing to pursue me, then I'm not going for it.
This is a very interesting topic, just because I don't know, and I've struggled with it for a long time. Now my wife Tracy, because
I'm a wuss when it comes to talking to the ladies. Like I don't have what the kids call riz.
Right. I
don't got the riz. But,
I never had a problem getting along with women on a personal level. But in terms of like the first kisses and all that stuff, I never wanted to be the one that initiated it. I guess I just had this unrealistic fear of rejection. And, like with Tracy, so I was going to say my current wife, I've been married twice, but we dated, man, I want to say 2 or 3 months before our first kiss.
Okay.
Like dates. I'm talking like we're going out on dates, we're going to dinner, we're doing all that stuff.
Yeah, but y'all are a little older. I think, like you said, when you're younger, it's all about physicality and definitely more about that. And as you get older, you realize that there's way more important things. So you can actually have the wherewithal to save that a little bit. I mean, not that I can speak on that because I've been with the same woman for a really long time, but I can tell you that our relationship has certainly changed and matured over the time, and physicality is still definitely a thing. But when we were younger, it was definitely way more. It's nice to be able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody is a lot more important.
Oh my God!
Especially if you plan on spending any amount of time with them.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding. Because my first wife. I mean, we didn't even make it to the third date before we.
Oh, she just sounds.
sex.
I mean, I don't know the woman other than what you've told me, and they say you're supposed to hear both sides of the story, but she sounds like a horrible human being. I'm just saying, from what you've told me. Man, and her parents are just as horrible, which takes us full circle back to the apple just does not fall very far from the tree sometimes. If that's what you've learned your whole life, then that's basically what you're going to be. So if there's any youngins listening out there and you're looking for a new girlfriend, maybe go over to the parents for dinner and take a look at how the parents act, because it's a good determination about what you're going to be getting yourself into.
Oh, I think there's
Well,
I mean
those
her parents had 3 kids, and then there was her. She wasn't nearly as bad as her sister. I mean, her sister was. Just,
they left a picture hanging at the top of the stairs for far too long of the ex-husband. Like that's just rotten.
Yeah, I forgot I told you that.
That's rotten. Feel free to edit it out. I thought I heard it in the podcast.
That's
actually,
true.
But
That's true. They did that.
Yeah,
Yes, and she was still married to that guy
Yeah.
when she was having sex with me on the
Yeah.
third date. So, and I wasn't even the first guy after she had left her husband at age 19. But
just saying,
I don't know.
It takes a certain bit of childish nature, or whatever you want to call it, to just go there. To that, like you got to know that that's just wrong on every level. If you're any kind of an adult, like you got to know. If you don't, then
yeah. But
you're just a bad person.
it's like, to me, I still think that there's a little guy on our shoulder, or gal, whatever you believe in, that kind of tells us when we're going down the wrong path. But you can easily get sucked in. I mean, here it is. So in my case, I had the first kid, and that was in high school, and that didn't work out. More to do with geography than anything. I mean, well, no, I mean, she got pregnant by another dude, but you know what I'm saying. So then the second time around, I lost my kid. I'd had custody of him, and then when I got the other one pregnant, it was like my sole purpose in the relationship was not losing the kid.
Yeah.
And on some level, this is going to be very hard for me to own this, but I should own it to some degree. This is a great therapy session. I have to accept responsibility that in many ways I was very disingenuous in the relationship as well,
Right.
because there did come a point where it really wasn't about love. It was about, the thing that I wanted to be is I wanted to be a father first and a husband second. Whereas with Tracy, my kids were older and I wanted to be a husband,
Right.
So, that's not to excuse all the ridiculous things that she did or whatever. But
I think y'all are pretty young too, right?
Well, she was 19. I was 22.
Yeah.
So,
And the brain doesn't even mature until like 25 or something.
Right.
They say so. Yeah.
and
I'll vouch for that because I was a young man trying to have a kid too, and looking back on that, you got to cut yourself a little bit of slack.
But Thom Jr., look at him. He started dating his wife when they were 16, and they've been faithful to each other. It's the only woman he's ever been with. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And it's on some level, I'm very jealous that he was able to have that relationship.
Have you ever thought about it like he had a good father figure that set a good example? Maybe that had something to do with it. Like,
Wow,
you
look
want
at
to
you.
laugh, but at the end of the day, like we've been talking about that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like it comes back to the parents, and a lot of it we've been talking about is like bad. The bad stuff rubs off on the kids, and you can't help that. Well, guess what? The good stuff rubs off on the kids too, and that's how you get a better world to live in. Is you teach these kids the right things when they're young, and then they have kids and teach those kids the right things, and then instead of having a big old long line of shitheads, we got a big old long line of good people that know how to treat the world and know how to act.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think
that works
I think
out.
kids can.
good
I think
parenting
kids
is
too-
underrated.
Well, good parenting, and part of good parenting is also admitting mistakes.
Sure.
Because
It's a huge part.
then you tell your kids, or the kids see the consequences of your mistakes.
Right.
So on some level, I was never able to model until later on what a functional marriage or a functional relationship was. But he sure as hell knew what a dysfunctional one was.
So that can be helpful too.
But then again, his mother and I were pretty good at shielding our marital problems from the kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they always know what's going on.
well, then again, I don't know. I mean, she was weird. Like she would, like if she was dating a dude, she would like bring him around the kids
Just an
and
evil-
stuff, and
just
they
an evil
just
person.
knew it,
Yeah.
But hey, that's whatever. If she's listening, I still hate you. No.
Steve wouldn't like that.
I still hate you.
That made me think of Steve.
I know, Steve. Oh, Steve.
Say,
Stevenson, you're listening.
But if we didn't
Yeah.
if we didn't have all that, me and you wouldn't be sitting here talking to each other. That's
well,
what Steve
every
would say.
situation is different, and I think Steve was a unique character, and he was a very forgiving soul, for sure. But you could still tell there was a level of disappointment and bitterness. I think I don't want to say that he passed away as a sad and lonely guy, because I think, as I was able to speak at his memorial service or celebration of life, whatever they call those things now, we really did fill that void that he had. But yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for 810 Mead Works and him having that sense of purpose in Medina, I mean, he could have easily fallen into some deep depression, because there's no question that he absolutely missed being married and all the things that come with it. And then, I think he was a little older too, man. I would hate to have to start over in my 50s.
I don't know if I would. It's hard to say, sitting here in my 40s.
I mean, I've
done a lot of things that I didn't think I would do. So
yeah, no, I mean, I've had to restart my finances, my jobs, and everything. I mean, probably 4 or 5 times.
What are you going to do? You can't just quit. So if it happens to you, I guess you're right. You can.
Yeah, you just kill yourself or something, or you drown yourself in alcohol and drugs, and and I'm not saying that people should do that, but honestly, I have a lot of empathy for people that do that. I mean, my father did that. He lost his job, and his mother, died, and all these things happen all at once, and his world collapsed, and he tried to kill himself, and he fucked himself up for life, and and I saw that, but I also saw the collateral damage. And going back to, sometimes it's not the things that we teach our kids to do, it's the examples that we show them as what not to do and the real consequences.
It can stick a little bit harder even than the good ones. It's a little bit easier. You've only got to be let down a few times for it to really stick. It usually takes a bunch of, hey, kid, great job, to really get a kid to understand they're doing a great job.
Yeah, for sure, man. But I mean, you even think about like with drug overdoses and alcoholism and stuff. I feel like if there were
always an underlying,
if there were people that were around like people before they spiral into, or after they spiral into that state, and maybe around that to see like, okay, this is the direction you're going, maybe they would think twice about it. But then again, like you said, there's still that cycle that some people think that that's just normal. Like, how many people say, oh, it's normal to fight in a marriage? I mean, all couples fight. I mean, you must hear that a lot.
Sure, absolutely.
I hear it all the time.
And I somewhat agree to it, but it depends on what extent you're fighting.
For sure.
Like if anything gets resolved, because ultimately it's just fighting. If nothing, if you've got two people that aren't willing to compromise, then it's not going to go anywhere.
It's normal to disagree.
Then it's just fighting,
but it's not normal
or arguing.
To fight.
If nobody's willing to see the other person's side, then it's just fighting and arguing. You got to definitely keep an open mind. That's what I'm learning in my older age.
We do have a matter of business that we were supposed to get to. How much time are we on? Can you see the timer there?
Yeah, I forgot about this.
This could be the fun part of it.
43 minutes, 19 seconds.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
we got time.
So we're gonna set this up. Do you want to set it up, or you want me to set it up?
What do you mean? Oh, what we're about to do?
Yeah, we got to call somebody.
So Thom has a buddy who we're not going to mention any names, but he has a bunch of work done on the house.
His name's Jeff.
Okay, we are going to mention names. His name's Jeff, but we're not going to mention any last names. At any rate,
I honestly don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, so we wouldn't even try. We just might murder it. And this guy got a bunch of work done on his house from this contractor, but he's kind of just dropped everything and walked away at this point, from what I'm understanding.
Yeah, no, he's like totally ghosted him.
Yeah, the guy gave him like $20,000 up front to get the work done. It's no small amount of money, and now he's just nowhere to be found.
20?
Yeah, I think
200.
2,200?
No, 200,000.
200,000?
200,000.
I thought it was 20,000.
No, it's 200,000.
Holy shit! Who gives up that kind of money to anybody up front?
I don't know.
Man, I wish I would have heard that. I thought he said 20 when we were talking to him.
Dude, he says
20,
so
200.
Yeah,
this must be a pretty big contractor around, huh?
thank you
Like,
for
holy
freaking out as
smokes.
much as I did, because there was somebody else there. I think it was Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt's all like, oh, 200 grand. That sounds about right.
200.
I'm like 200. I'm like 200.
Listen.
Dude, you give me 200,000. I'm moving into your
The
house.
first 10 years of my life I spent contracting and doing like exterior stuff, roofing, siding, framing, windows, doors. Like I must have been in the wrong business because we weren't seeing no monies like that. 200,000 up front. Yeah. Sometimes you ask for like half the cost up front so you can get the materials and get started, and then the second half comes when the job's complete. It sounds like poor Jeff got suckered into giving away close to $250,000, and now this guy is probably with that kind of money produced a drug habit and maybe possibly a gambling problem or something, and he just disappeared.
Well, so the story goes to Jeff tells me, and Jeff didn't tell me I can't say any of this on the podcast. So Jeff, I know you're listening because you're a listener. But he told me that he went to this guy's house and he's gone there a few times.
Yeah.
And he's knocked on the door.
He thinks he's working for somebody else.
And then he goes and parks next door and waits for the guy to come home, and the guy just doesn't come home. Like he's completely ghosted him. Now we're gonna
That's
say
a lot of money, man.
He
has done a bunch of work from what I understand, but he's got a bunch of stuff that he needs to button up.
I think so.
Yeah, it was like a whole.
I mean, if I've
like
already
paid
you $200,000 and there's still more work to go, I'm coming over because I will continue to make you pay me. I mean, he's clearly a guy that's been able to put out.
There is no way this guy's answering your phone call.
You don't think so?
No way.
All right.
And if he does,
he's a friend of one of your friends.
Well, that's what you said.
Yeah,
but I couldn't. I couldn't
Joel.
find. I looked and I couldn't find. Like, I don't even know how I would go about looking to see who.
All right, how are we gonna pull this off? If he answers, we're gonna be like, "Hey, man, we're doing a podcast about some contractor stuff. We were wondering if you."
He's gonna immediately not want to talk to us if we tell him that.
You think so? Well, how are we gonna introduce ourselves? Why are we calling?
We could be calling for an estimate to redo a kitchen or bathroom or something.
How about redo the podcast studio? Yes! I do need some work done in here.
Okay.
I do need some work done.
Any plumbing or anything? We're not looking for any plumbing.
No.
This guy does it all. He's a jack of all, apparently.
So
we're just a regular old GC from what Jeff says.
All right, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
This dude, no way he's answering.
This is going to be crazy if he does. I'm actually, boy, he gave me two numbers, too. Mobile and a main. Which one should I hit?
The mobile. What's his name?
Luke.
You talking or me?
I'll talk first. You're right, he might not answer.
No way. If you left him a voicemail, he'd call back, though. Tell him you're looking to get some work done. But then we probably won't be here recording anymore.
Please leave your name, number.
Okay, so that one he says something remodeling. So
I've seen these signs out in yards.
Oh.
So is this home by chance?
Remodeling. Which one did I just call? So I called the mobile.
Yeah.
Let's try the main.
Please leave your name, number, and.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, we tried. Can't say we didn't.
Do we edit the name out?
Yeah. Hey, mister, if you're out there, we'd like to talk to you. Did they do a bunch of... Is it on 104? Is that where his house is that he's getting work done on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know Ray... I've seen those signs out by the road. He just bought this house not too long ago, and he's getting it all redone, right?
Yeah.
It's a big house. Yeah, 220. Jesus. Murphy. That's a lot of money.
I honestly, when he told me how much he had spent
They have like
on the
there's
remodel,
like a little apartment downstairs, and then
Yeah.
there's some stuff going on upstairs. I used to know the guy who lived there. We actually played a couple of parties in that backyard.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got a little porch off the backyard where you could
Like, 3
set up a
stories in the back
stage
there.
and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was some fun redneck parties going on there.
Dang, I wonder if I should just try to give this guy one more shot.
Generally, if you're running from somebody who you owe $250,000 whatever $1,000 to.
We don't know if the guy owes money. I can't tell from
If the work's not done and he's been paid, then he owes money. I'm not going to say it's the whole $220, but it's going to be something.
You know what we need to do?
It sounded like if it was $220 for the whole job, then or $200.
Let's get Jeff on the phone.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk to the man himself.
Let's talk to the man himself.
He might answer.
He might answer. He's wanted to be on the podcast. He just doesn't realize that he's going to be.
Hopefully, he doesn't
if
lock
he
up.
answers.
Hey, Thom.
Hey, Jeff.
What's up?
You're on the podcast with Josh. Say hi to
Hey,
Josh.
what's up, Jeff?
I'm on the podcast.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
on the
we were
Bagel
just talking
Logic.
about you. Bagel Logic.
Oh. Hey,
We're
how
just-
you doing?
Remember we told you we were going to call your contractor guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we called him.
Did he answer?
No.
Of course not. He won't answer for you. He's definitely not going to answer for us.
No.
Well, I thought he might answer for you, a little bit more likely than answering for me.
Well,
but
we might have had a little bit better a chance because it's a weird number for sure.
Yeah. We didn't leave a message though.
oh, you did leave a message?
No, because if I don't record it, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, maybe I'll still talk to him. Well, Josh actually knows somebody that knows him, so maybe you should call in that.
Oh.
Well,
Well,
I don't
maybe.
really know him though.
Oh, you don't
I'm just
know Joel?
I know of him, and
Oh,
and
you know
we-
who's friends with him is Nick. We got to get Nick in on
Yeah,
this.
Nick plays music with him.
Yeah,
He'd
Nick
be able to
plays
get the
music
skinny.
with him.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get the skinny from
yeah.
Nick.
Yeah, okay.
So just
I was
get-
going to ask which Nick, but now I know which
Yeah,
Nick.
you know Nick, tall Nick,
Bass player Nick.
bass
Yeah.
player Nick. So what was
Bass
the
player Nick.
what we were debating the amount here? Josh said 20 grand worth of work. I said 200 grand. Who's right?
Well, the 200, yeah, we've given him 200, almost 200, but I'm not saying that he owes me 200 grand because he did a lot of work.
How
I
much do you
mean-
think he's got left to do? If you had to put a
I
dollar
mean,
amount.
20 doesn't so 20 seems to be about
Yeah.
right. It might be a little bit over 20.
Man,
But yeah, say 20. I don't know. It's hard for me to figure some of
Right.
these things
right,
because how much does it cost to get a vanity and a toilet and put it into a bathroom? How much does it cost to
right.
break out a cinder block wall?
Yeah,
and
it
put a
depends
brick door
on who
in?
you get, right? Whoever you hire is going to give you a different price for that every time.
Yeah, yeah.
So what has he
and,
done for 180 grand?
Well, I mean, everything in this house. I mean, all the walls upstairs, or just about all the walls upstairs, are different than they used to be. I mean, we reconfigured the upstairs portion of the house. We got all new windows, although some of that was paid to Medina Windows, not to him directly, but we have all new windows. Some of the windows he put in himself, though. The kitchen, brand new kitchen. The bathrooms are a different place, and one of them is in a different place than it was originally. But even the one that's in essentially the same place, the toilet and shower are you put a shower in where the previous owner had this huge hot tub, and we took that out. He got rid of the elevator.
Oh man, he got rid of the elevator.
Wow.
Yeah, you know the elevator.
No, but Jesus.
I did know it existed. I don't know it that
Yeah,
well. We
Josh-
actually we
Josh
played a
was
few
there.
And
parties.
then downstairs, he got rid of the grow room.
Yeah, I did know about that too. Actually,
Grow room?
That's
Are we
a too
talking
bad.
marijuana?
yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I mean, when we were there for building inspection, we our daughter was looking around and saw this closet with this sort of piece of paneling just sort of sitting there on the back of the closet, not really attached. And she moves it over and sees this room with a dirt floor, had a high pressure sodium lamp in there.
Yeah, sounds like a grow
so-
room.
Yeah, that sounds like a
sodium
grow
like
room.
salt?
No, I think
What's
there's
that?
yeah, high pressure sodium lighting. Yeah,
Interesting.
must be salt in the bulb to get it to ignite or
that's what
something.
they used to. I think they use LEDs now, but
Yeah.
it was probably old. He probably had it for
Sure.
a long time.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Maybe the contractor just smoked all the weed and doesn't feel like coming back to do the rest of the work.
I don't think so. There wasn't any weed in there. 'Cause I don't think
Just saying.
the previous owner I don't know what I should say the name, but the previous owner had used it as grow room for a while, because I don't know, it didn't. I mean, even though that light was there, but by the time we were, I think, during final inspection, that, well, I mean, yeah, everything was gone, but the light was gone, and a lot of that stuff. I mean, I guess he could have left the light and called it part of the, fixtures, but
it was
clearly
a shop.
That wasn't really.
It was very obviously a shop space.
Yeah.
It's photography. He was into photography.
Yeah, dark room.
Yeah.
Or really light.
And well, I mean, like I say, he's done a lot. But 2 bathrooms, a kitchen.
That's too bad. It sounds like he did pretty good work otherwise, and now he's just stiffing here on the back end.
So was there
like he did good work?
But was there like an end point? You know what I mean? Did you have a contract that said when you're done with this, you're done, or was it just give me money and I'll keep showing up?
So the paper, the papers are kind of vague. It said, things like trim work as needed and things like that.
Yeah. Don't ever put as needed for anything.
Yeah. And the bathroom was downstairs. Was supposed to be done to contractor grade or something like that, some phrasing like that. But clearly that means a toilet and a vanity in there.
Yeah, I would think so.
The tub's in there. But
so wait a minute, you got a bathroom with just a tub?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, then he stopped, dude.
But it's
can't even be a half bath without a toilet.
It's roughed in for the toilet and vanity, but it's not there. So, and then some of the electrical stuff, like
shocking.
Like the electrical stuff was, there's a light in the attic and there's a switch at the bottom of the stairs, but it doesn't control that light. The switch doesn't seem to control anything.
Uh-oh.
But the only way to turn off that light up in the attic is to loosen the light bulb.
It's just always on.
Which is kind of a minor thing.
That's a ghost.
Not when you paid that much money. It's not.
No,
minor.
I think that's a ghost though. Yeah.
And then and one thing I was thinking about doing myself, but I really can't. There's a light that goes down to the basement. There's switches for it, and there's wires hanging out of the ceiling, but I can't get up there to put that in myself. The fixture's there, and he has a fixture there, but it's like on it's above the stairs. So
it's only 3 wires. Just lick your fingers and grab onto 2 at the same time. It'll tell you which one's the hot
my
one.
head.
Oh, you gotta get a step ladder.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the steps.
He didn't leave no step ladder for you, huh?
Oh yeah, he left ladders.
Oh, there you go. Those are worth money. Cash those in, man. Those things.
Not a step ladder. You can't use a step ladder. This is above the steps.
Oh, if it's a little giant, you can, because you can adjust the legs differently. You got any of them aluminum folding step ladders there?
Yeah,
Little Giant
yeah,
is?
he did leave one of those.
Yeah.
He did leave in the
That
back.
was work.
He left a lot of shit too.
Yeah, so all that stuff's worth cash.
Jesus.
You got to be planning on coming back at some point.
I got a he left a one of these gas powered concrete saws.
Oh man, that's $300 or $400 right there.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to turn around and sue Jeff for all of his old stuff.
Yeah,
someday.
just waiting for him to sell it.
Just watch.
Just sell that stuff, and then I'm taking it to court. You could sell the stuff and hire another contractor to come back and finish the work.
How long has he not showed up?
End of January showed up and finished some of the electrical stuff. Except for that, like with the things I just said. Everything else is done. No, there's 2 other things.
It's been a couple months.
There used to be 3 other things. No, 2 other things. Yeah, there's supposed to be a light on the back porch. That's not working. And then there's a porch on the side that this was supposed to be a light in there, and that's not working. He talked all along about early on they cut power to the outbuildings. And it was always understood that he was going to do that, but I'm not sure that's actually scope. So I'm not going to say too much about that. But my outbuildings don't have power, and it's kind of annoying. Even though there was power to begin with.
Sure, there was. I remember.
I know
we used to hang out
he
in
had an
those barns
electrician
down there.
early on that said that there was this was it Pacific Electric panel out in the outbuildings that apparently had been recalled, and apparently all electricians, from what I understand, know that you can't keep this thing.
Right. Old panel.
Yeah, the panel out there. So that has to be, there's some other work, but the outbuilding stuff, I always, it was sort of the impression that was sort of like an add-on project, which I'm obviously not going to have him add on that thing. Some of the trim work, I didn't say some of the trim work downstairs, a lot of the trim work downstairs is.
But other than that. Jesus, man.
We have a whole podcast just with the list of stuff that needs to be done still.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's been 2 months since he's been there. Yeah, I'd say it's time for him to...
Hey, Josh, you know who's not going to be a podcast sponsor?
yeah, I do.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Won't even answer his phone. Doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't answer the phone. And not only does he not answer his phone, and he has just 2 phone numbers. I've left messages on both phone numbers. I've left him text messages. I've emailed him, and I've gone to his house. And I'm pretty sure when I went to his house that he saw my car and didn't go into his driveway because he saw me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty. I can't say that for 100% because I saw a white truck.
That sounds like
it was from a little
totally
distance
believable.
away. I couldn't tell for sure it was his white truck. But I went to the bar down the street there and had a beer and came back, and then the white truck was there. So I suspect that he was avoiding me.
Does he have a dog? I mean, you should just like kidnap his dog.
He has a big dog.
Well, there you go. Get the dog, kidnap the dog, and then say, if you want the dog back, you come to my house and finish the work.
Yeah, I don't think so. He had 2 big, plus it was a big dog, but that means I would have to break into his house to get the dog.
Hey, break into his house. I mean, obviously, he probably didn't finish the alarm system at his own house. So.
He'll probably be sitting right there on the other side.
His house. That's another thing that's interesting.
Yeah.
It looks so undone as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, generally contractors or anybody that works in construction just doesn't have any time to put into their own stuff. Just like my dad or my grandfather used to be a mechanic, and his car just never quite ran as good as everybody else's. Yeah. Spend all day working on everybody else's. Last thing you want to do is work on yours when you get home.
It's like my bagels at home. They never go fully baked. My personal bagels. Right? My personal bagels, they're never fully baked, at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's a joke. But I don't know, man. We'll give him one more shot, but we call both numbers. But we wanted to get the full story for the listeners.
Yeah, and you didn't leave a message, so
no.
He doesn't know.
You want to leave a message?
Oh, so you have not mentioned his name here.
No.
His name came up on the voicemail, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'll probably beep it out.
Podcast, you haven't mentioned his name.
I mean, here's the thing, Josh. I feel like if I get sued for slander, that means people are actually listening to the podcast.
Right.
So maybe that's not a bad thing.
And ultimately, if it's his voicemail saying his name and the name of his company, then we didn't say it. They did. Because I haven't said it. And you haven't said it.
He did not do work for me.
You left the call on the...
Like we heard his voicemail picked up, and there's a message there.
Yeah, and it said the name of the contracting company.
And his name.
But we didn't say it. It was his voicemail that said it.
Right, so technically we haven't said anything.
I don't know, man. We need to get an attorney. We not only need a female...
Your sister's an attorney.
Yeah, she ain't going to help me on this one.
My brother's an attorney.
All right.
All right. We're gonna give him one more shot. Don't hope for much because we got to get ready to wrap up this episode. But Jeff, thanks for being a part.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the info.
Sure.
We appreciate it, man. We will talk. We're gonna figure this out either way,
one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, maybe you want to show up at his house with me.
That's the next step here.
Yeah, Josh and
but
I.
We got to time it right and. And I don't
video
know
if we do it that way.
There should be some sort of subterfuge and like hide.
Whoa, hold on. What the hell was that word? Did he just say subterfuge?
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, it's something to make it so that he'll just get out of his car.
Jeff, what is the word subterfuge? What does that mean?
something stinky or something.
So we have to show up stinky? I mean, I ate this Mexican
Sneaky,
rice.
not
Oh,
stinky.
sneaky. I was gonna say stinky. I had like Mexican rice with queso tonight. We'll head right over. Be like, give me an hour. I'll get them out. Just leave one of those right on the doorstep. Okay. All right. Well, listen. We will either kidnap his dog or we'll get. No, we're not gonna kidnap the dog, dude.
Yeah.
Michael, we're not Michael Vick here,
I
folks.
think if we get some Salem's hot dogs, we can make that dog
Honestly,
do whatever
dude,
we want.
if we did kidnap the dog to all of our listeners, we would treat it well. Like we wouldn't want to be
Absolutely.
those people that kidnapped the dog and was mean to it.
Well,
we would be like, we give it
what
treats.
I've
Would
seen
pamper
of
it.
his, by the way, Tom, what I've
Yeah.
seen of his dogs, and what I know you've said about your dogs,
Yeah.
I think if you took his dog and brought it to your house, you'd have one less dog.
You think he'd eat my little doggies? Oh,
The big dog. One of the
Yeah.
dogs is really big.
yeah. Well, whatever. They'd have a home here.
Big dogs need love too.
Yeah. Big dogs.
It,
and
it didn't
little
seem,
dogs.
although my sense of this dog was barking at me when I was knocking at the door. He looked friendly.
Yeah.
Did he
was
look like he was?
wagging
Did
his
he look
tail
like
the
he
whole
was from
time.
Arkansas? Was he a slow dog?
They can't help it. They don't have any tax money out there.
Yeah, those Arkansas.
No
dogs.
school systems and lots of meth.
Yeah, you would have had to
It's a
listen
bad
to the earlier
situation.
part of the episode to appreciate that,
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah, it'll make sense when you listen
Yeah,
back.
when you listen back. All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Okay.
All right, buddy. We'll
Later,
talk to
man.
you soon.
All right, bye.
Boy, we do good with the phone calls.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
No,
do you
no,
want to
no.
give the guy another shot?
I mean, we can. I'm just telling you. Go ahead.
7:41. We got some time, so I could always edit out some other stuff to get it down to an hour. All right, I'm going to give you the choice: 8733 or 9442.
9442.
All right, here we go. Should we leave a message this time?
I'm gonna leave it to you. Or leave a voicemail, and then they'll call you back. They got to make everything complicated. Can't just frickin' answer the phone. Like, if you don't like what's on the other end, hang up.
Oops,
Shit.
we got his name on there.
I said nothing, and neither did you. Rule number one
Lord.
in Shyster School is you don't
Yeah.
put your business name on your voicemail box.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I might beep that out. I haven't decided yet.
Probably just tried to start a business and didn't realize how damn hard it is to start a business
Yeah.
with no money. You know,
Yeah.
small business isn't easy,
You and
especially
I know.
construction. Yeah.
You and I know we got small businesses.
Construction, there's a lot more overhead.
We return
and
calls though. Don't we?
insurance. Oh, I answer mine right off the get.
Dude, you're calling me to
I'm
give
taking
me
life
money?
taking life head on right
Hello?
now. Give it to me.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're gonna wrap this baby up. It's always a
was
spirited
fantastic.
discussion. This was both odd and beautiful,
All over the
in
place.
in every possible way. I mean, we've easily offended
No one at all.
groups of people
I hope.
and remodelers.
That's definitely not what I was going for.
No, we don't.
We
you
only
know,
only
love.
speak the truth when we get together, and
We
if the
love.
truth hurts, then I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry for that, folks.
Yes. All right, man. Well, thanks for listening to the Bagel Logic podcast. Josh, when are we going to do this again? We just got to make this a regular thing.
At least once
At
a
least,
month.
okay.
Maybe twice a month.
We're going to shake. We're going to shake on once a month. If there's any female foils
Yeah.
listening, let us know.
We're interviewing. That doesn't mean you got the job, but
Yeah. Also, I'd like to put out there is our new feature for the second half of the show. If you need us to make a phone call for you, we're going to start doing that.
I think we could do that.
And if somebody actually answers,
The
I think we
answers,
could do
yeah.
it. Like if you need to break up with a girlfriend,
yeah.
or
tell your boss
somebody
to-
owes
to
you
shove
money,
it, or
you're quitting your job, any of that stuff.
yeah.
You know,
Let
on
us
the
know.
phone. Yeah, let us know. We'll do it because it's going to make great.
But you got to be
podcasts.
willing to put it out there.
You
know?
got to be willing.
You know, we could try to change the names,
No,
but that
we
wouldn't be
won't.
any fun.
We can just
Yeah.
beep them if we do anything.
Be a bunch of beeping.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, this is Tom and
Josh,
saying, I don't know what do I say to say goodbye? We'll just say goodbye.
see you around.
Bye. Find the stop button. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?